Good day, beautiful people. You're all welcome back to this channel, Solid Caps TV. And please, as we move on, please, I urge you to subscribe so as to encourage us. And right now, we're going to be talking about Bishops Aremu and David Abioye as they retire from Oyedepo's Winners Chapel. You see, Bishops Thomas Aremu and David Abioye have retired from the Living Faith Church, better known as Winners Chapel, after decades of service. Aremu is 67 years and while Abioye is 63. The retirement follows a review of the church's administrative policy called the Mandate. Retirement age for leaders at the church has been pegged at 55. Only David Oyedepo, founder of the church, aged 70, can now serve for life. According to the new policy, the mandate stipulates that future leaders of the church will be restricted to 1 or 2 terms of 7 years, pending approval by the Board of Trustees. Yes, during his valedictory or farewell service at the Living Faith Church, Orita Bashorun, Ibadan, on October 15th, Aremu said he will remain in the Winners Chapel family. I don't have a church and I cannot have a church because God has not infused me with the capacity to do so. This is my church, Aremu said. Even after retirement, I shall remain in the Winners family. I may be privileged to bless other churches other than Winners, but there's nothing I am going to teach them also than what I have learned in Winners. God planted me in this commission, and I am convinced that this is where I belong. In his farewell service on October 18th, Abioye said he will remain grateful to Oyedepo for the opportunity to serve. It has been my unreserved honor to serve in the commission for close to 4 decades, and my appreciation for this opportunity goes to my mentor, leader, and father in the faith, Bishop David Oyedepo, the founder and apostle over Living Faith Church worldwide, whom I love and respect ever since meeting him over 44 years ago, Abioye said. We have seen the power of faith in the mandate committed into his hands and God at work in countless lives, and I'm deeply grateful for the leadership provided by him and fellowship shared together. While my official duties round up, my covenant relationship with God's servants continue, and my goodwill towards the well-being of the commission under its leadership remains intact. On behalf of my ever supportive wife, David, and wonderful children, we say a big thank you. Born March 11, 1961, is a Nigerian Christian author and preacher who is the founder and presiding bishop of Living Word Conquerors Global Assembly. He was the first chairman of the Living Faith Church Worldwide, also known as Winners Chapel. He was the senior pastor, Living Faith Church, Goshen City, just outside Abuja, with over 30,000 worshippers at the time of his retirement on 18th October 2024. By election of grace, David Olatunji Abioye is called by God to lift up a standard of stewardship in the body of Christ. He graduated in automobile engineering, and upon completion of his compulsory National Youth Service Corps in 1984, he engaged in practice at a mechanic workshop and later in teaching at a polytechnic for some months before responding to full-time call into ministry in October 1986. Meanwhile, his life took a pivotal turn in 1980 when he met Bishop David Oyedepo during a Christian student fellowship. This encounter evolved into 4 decades of stewardship under him. Being an impactful author, he has published quite a number of books covering different areas of life. He's married to Mary Abioye and they are blessed with children. Pastor Unebu Victor Wallace, former pastor in the Living Faith Church, also known as Winners Chapel, wrote an article titled Shiloh Without Bishop Abioye, Facts and Lessons, which is being circulated online. However, a follow-up interview with him by the Church Times gives a deeper insight into the politics of the retirement of Bishop David Abioye, the erstwhile pastor of the church, who has since moved on to start his ministry. So, the facts and lessons by Pastor Unebu Victor Wallace. Shiloh without Bishop Abioye. He said, as soon as I learned of the retirement of Bishop David Abioye, I patiently waited to see if he would show up in this year's Shiloh. True to my expectations, he didn't. I have a lot of reactions from people on social media and offline concerning the retirement of Bishop David Abioye and his absence in Shiloh. As a way of introduction, I joined the commission in 2003, and what endeared me to the commission was Bishop Oyedepo's pure love for Jesus Christ. Though I may not agree with a lot of his teachings and doctrinally, but Bishop Oyedepo's love for God is akin to the love a baby has towards his mother or father. I later became a full-time pastor, loosely referred to as resident pastor. During my short and eventful time as a resident pastor, I was privileged to pastor Mbese and Awomama, where I planted over 20 churches. I resigned from that position in 2011 for personal and revelational reasons, but still remained a member of Living Faith Church, where I served as a pastoral assistant, a designation for ordained part-time pastors. Bishop Oyedepo suffered great persecution from resident pastors, which was so much that very trusted pastors showed the man shege. I recall in one of our meetings at Covenant University Auditorium, Papa said during the period his wife was critically ill to the point of death, pastors were wishing her dead. Most times, what we see from outside does not reflect the reality inside. Papa, from the actions of his pastor, learned that the hard way not to trust anyone fully. Now, listen to me. You may wish to inquire from any resident pastor who had or is still pastoring in Living Faith Church, especially those who were ordained at least 14 years ago. There are categories of pastors in Winners Chapel. We have Papa's boys and Abioye's boys. Papa's boys are those who have direct link to Papa and are loyal with him or to him, whereas Abioye's boys were those who are loyal to Abioye. I came into ministry as a resident pastor ordained by Papa himself in 2010. I came with a pure zeal to serve God, not knowing that there are internal political power play that goes on within the mix. After the appraisal in 2010 ending, I was informed by a top official that I was among the top in my set, 2009-2010 set. I was told that by my appraisal, I have been transferred to the Ihiagu Church, a church with over 1,000 members and close to the Federal University of Technology, Owerri, meaning it's a student area, and as a former SUG president of that school, it was a perfect positioning. I waited for days and weeks for my transfer letter to get to me, but it didn't even when I had verified knowledge of my transfer to Hiagwa. Well, to my surprise, the letter finally came and it read, transferred to LFC Awomama, as resident pastor one, meaning the senior pastor. I felt bad, but saw it as the will of God. At Awomama, I planted 4 churches in less than 8 months. At a time, I pastored the entire 4. However, I struggled to adapt to the new reality which I saw in the ministry. After struggling for some months, I decided to follow the trend and join the group that was holding sway, which was the Abioye boys. Like magic, I started enjoying some privileges and love to the extent that I was asked to pick where I would love to be transferred to. I think Papa was very much aware of the Abioye boys team and the great influence they commanded, especially within the Nigerian church mission. They were the richest and were posted to branches that were strong financially. They practically frustrated most of Papa's boys out of the commission, but trust the wisdom in operation in the life of Papa. The old man has patience and is very tactical. One day, in another pastor's meeting, Bishop Abioye announced that he was going to pattern the church's succession plan after that of Kenneth Hagin. This implied that none of its 2 sons who had just joined the ministry would be his successor. That gave rise to the mandate. The mandate went through a lot of reviews because some of these pastors were taking advantage of the content of the mandate to carry out some self-serving actions. As such, the mandate at that time was suspended and subjected to very critical review. One may ask, was Bishop Abioye aware of the existence of a powerful clique code named the Abioye Boys? I think he is very much aware because whenever it is time for his birthday, we were usually tasked to bring monetary gifts that was usually collected and sent to him, including the names of the pastors and the pastor's church branch. Bishop Abioye practically left the running of the church in Nigeria to Bishop Abioye and did not bother to know what was going on except for Canaan Land Otter, the headquarters. So Bishop Abioye held sway. However, Bishop Abioye have decided to hand over the church pastor to David Jr., concentrated on tutoring the young man by himself in Otta and creating an enabling environment for the young man to command influence and respect among pastors. This will not be possible if some of the old war horses who were with Papa were not shown the exit door. From the greatest to the least, hence the retirement age strategy. Well, before now, it was believed that Living Faith Church Goshen Abuja was built by Papa as a parting gift for Bishop Abioye.
You're all welcome to this
so the plan was to make him life resident pastor of LFC Goshen Abuja. However, it was discovered that if Abioye is still in the system and David Jr. takes over, the young man will not enjoy the sovereignty to do so, as occasion serves him as the president of Living Faith Church worldwide.
In an industry
Hence,
known
the
for its
difficult
glamour,
but only decisive
and
decision
public
to
devotion,
retire
several
Bishop
high-profile marriages
Abioye
have
and Bishop
unexpectedly
Aremu
crumbled,
through
leaving fans shocked
Aremu
and public
was
desperate
just
for
a
answers.
co-victim,
While
though
these stars
not the
once
main
captivated
target.
us with displays of affection,
Whether you believe it or
red
not,
carpet
this decision came
appearances,
to
and
Bishop
public
Abioye
declaration of
as a
love,
rude shock.
the
Although his
harsh
wife loved
realities
it
behind
because
closed
mommy
doors
was
tell a different
always
story.
being on the
From
opinion that the
comedians
husband
to
should start his
musicians
own
to
ministry
power
long
couples
ago,
and beloved
instead of
screen
doing a
queens,
second fiddle
these
to
celebrities
Bishop
revealed that
Oyedepo.
even deep
Little
love and
wonder
long
it
history
didn't come to me as a
aren't
surprise
always
when
enough.
Bishop Abioye
And number
floated a
one, we have Basket Mouth and
non-denominational
LC
outreach
Okocha.
almost immediately after
When
retirement.
ex-comedian
This
Bright Okocha,
outreach
popularly
is
known as
likely
Basket
to
Mount,
turn
announced
into
his
a
separation
full-time
from his
denomination
wife,
in
Elsie,
months or
in
years
December
to come.
2022. It sent shockwaves
But
across Nigeria's
friends, I think
entertainment
Papa
industry.
didn't do Abioye
The
any
couple
wrong.
had been married for
Papa
12 years and been
transformed
admired for their
Abioye
seemingly
and
playful,
gave him
rock-solid
that
union.
brand that
As
everybody
much as it
refers
pains
to
me
as
to
loyal
bring my
servant
personal life
and
to the public
lieutenant.
space, this is an
Papa made Bishop
unavoidable
Abioye one of
situation.
the wealthiest
We have
pastors in
decided
Africa.
to end our
And I think
marriage.
Abioye is
Basket
the
Mount
wealthiest
wrote
pastor
in
or
a now
priest in
deleted
history
Instagram
who does
post.
not own or
The
run a
couple
private
shared 3
ministry
children and
worldwide.
often flaunt their
In Winners
bond
Chapel,
online.
Bishop Abioye
Elsie
was
once
the de
described
facto
Basket Mount
president of the
as a gift
commission,
from God.
and
So when the
that
split was
retirement
announced,
came
with
to
no
him like a
clear
coup
reason
masterly
given,
plotted and
fans were
executed.
blindsided. Rumors swirled
Let no
about
Winners Chapel
communication
member
breakdown and
expect to see
long-standing
Bishop
unresolved
Abioye
issues,
around Living
but
Faith
neither
Church
parties has
events
given a full
except
public
on some
explanation.
face-saving
And
exceptions
number 2, we have
so
AY
that
Mako
wrong
and
impressions
Mabel
would not
Mako.
be sustained. Never forget, organized religion
Comedian and
is
actor
not church.
Ayomako AY and his interior designer wife,
What
Mabel Mako,
Unebu
were
told
once
Church
seen as
Times
one of
in an
Nollywood's
online
power
interview
couples. After 20 years of being
when he
together,
said,
13
"What is
of
your
which
faith
spent
background and
married,
how did you
their
join
breakup
Winners
in early
Chapel?" He
2024
said, "I was
shocked
born and
many. The
dedicated at
couple
the
had
Apostolic
weathered
Church
many storms,
TAC,
including a
but
near
later joined my
divorce in
auntie to worship
2016,
at
which they
Assemblies of
managed to
God Church
overcome.
at
But
3
this time,
Mustafa
things truly
Street,
fell
Olodia
apart.
Papa, Lagos in
AY
1987.
confirmed the breakup in a
That was
candid
how I became a member
Instagram
of
post,
AGC
stating,
until
"Yes, my marriage of
2003
20
when I
years is
joined
ending. There
Winners
was no
Chapel.
infidelity, no
It was the
scandal,
teachings
just too many
of
things
Bishop
broken
David
and
Oyedepo
unspoken."
that attracted me to the Winners
Despite
Chapel.
welcoming their second daughter
I
in
was also
2022
attracted
after
by
years of
Oyedepo's
trying,
passion
the
and love
cracks
for God.
in their relationship
Now,
deepened. Fans were
how did you
devastated,
become a
especially
pastor?
given how often
I went through
Mabel
the
and
regular training in
AY
the church and also had
publicly
my first degree in
expressed their love for
2007.
one another.
Eventually, I became a
Then number
full-time
3, we
pastor in the
have
church in
Bolale
2009.
Ninalowo
I
and Bumi
resigned from
Ninalowo.
full-time ministry in 2011 from Living
Known for
Faith
his
Church
macho
in
roles in
Amo
Nollywood
Wama,
and his love
Owerri,
for
Imo
fitness,
State for personal
actor
reasons.
Bolale
But
Ninalowo
then
has
I
always
was done
spoken
with my
highly of
master's
his wife
program.
Bumi,
I then moved to Obinze
often
where I
referring
served
to her
as
as a woman who
pastoral
stood by him when he
assistant
had nothing.
till
The
August
couple
2016
initially
when I
split years
left
ago, but
Winners Chapel.
reconciled in 2018 after
And
Bolale
now,
admitted to
he was
personal
asked,
failures in the
"You
marriage."
talked about
Their
Abioye's
renewed
boys and
bond looked
Oyedepo
stronger
boys
than
in your
ever
article.
until
Did you meet
September
Bishop Abioye throughout
2023
your
when
stay in
Bolale
Winners? What gives
announced
you the
yet
impression
another
that there was
separation.
such
"My
classification in
wife
the
and I
church?"
have decided to go our
He said,
separate
"I
ways
didn't meet
and
Bishop
headed for
Abioye
an
one-on-one, but
irreconcilable
within the
marriage
fold of
dissolution,"
pastors, we were all
he
aware
wrote
of the
on Instagram.
classifications.
The
Abioye
revelation left
boys and
fans
Oyedepo
heartbroken, especially those who
boys.
saw the couples as a
The
testimony
state
to
pastor
second
then,
chances.
Pastor
They shared 2
Ogboyomi, was
children,
among the
and
Abioye
Bolale
boys.
has continued
He
to
was
speak
responsible for
respectfully
altering my
about
transfer
Bumi,
and changing
calling
it to
her a good
LFC
woman who
Awanma,
deserved
a church with
peace.
less than
And
100
then
members,
we have Funke
including children.
Akindele and JJC
However,
Skills.
when I saw that
Funke Akindele,
if I
one of
continued
Nollywood's
alone
most
without joining
successful
the trend, I would
actresses
suffer.
and
I then
producers,
started
shocked the
working my
public
way
when
into the
her
heart of
husband, JJ
Pastor
Skills,
Ogboyomi.
Abdul Rashid
Soon I
Bello,
became close to him
announced a
and was even
separation in
joining
June
him for a
2022.
specialized program
Together,
for
they had
mothers and fathers of
co-produced hit
nations,
films and series,
which is a program for
including
those
Jennifer's
expecting the
Diary
miracle
and
of the
Omogeto,
fruit of the
the
womb.
saga.
It
From
was
red
then
carpet
I knew
appearances to their
fully the
dynamic
dichotomy.
co-parenting of
During the
Funke's
birthday
twins,
celebration of Bishop
they were
Abioye,
seen
we
as
were
a
told to
formidable,
give.
creative,
Our
and
names and
romantic
amount
team.
and church branch
But
were
behind the scenes,
compiled and
tensions
sent to
brewed.
Bishop
JJC
Abioye.
Skills
I
disclosed the
was
breakup
one
with
of
a
those
composed
handling the
statement.
mail
"We had issues
of
for the
Pastor
past 2 years and I
Ogoyemi,
moved
so
out of the
then
house 3
I
months ago.
asked and was
Funke
asked to
insisted I
compile
leave
the
and
names."
we've not been able
So
to settle
Bishop Abioye
amicably.
is aware that there was
Reports
a group of
later
pastors
emerged about
loyal to
business
him
disagreements,
specifically.
parenting conflicts, and clashing
One would have
egos.
thought
Despite the split,
that
Funke remains a
Oyedepo boys
trailblazer in
would be
film,
more
while
powerful
JJC
since
has
Bishop
stepped back
Oyedepo is the
into
founder of the
music
church.
and creative
And now,
production.
He answered, Bishop Oyedepo left the entire
And
operation
then
of
you
the
have
Nigerian
Biola
church to
Bayo.
Bishop Abioye,
Popular actress and
except
TV host
Canaan
Biola
Land
Bayo
Etta.
recently stunned
Bishop
fans with
Abioye
the
was
quiet revelation that
practically
she had
in charge
separated from
of
her
all the
husband,
churches.
Oluwaseyi
Also, as a man of wisdom,
over a year ago.
Bishop Oyedepo did
The news
not
came in
interfere
April
so much with
2024.
the running of the
Shared
churches in
in an
Nigeria because of
heartfelt
the
birthday
long-term
message to her
trust
now
he had for Abioye,
ex-husband on
even till
Instagram.
today.
Yes, you
Hence,
heard me right.
the Abioye boys
My husband
had
and I
upper
have been
hand.
separated
That is
since
why it is
April
easy
last
for
year, she
those who
wrote.
are his
Biola
followers
explained
to
that
have more ground
despite the
than
split,
those
the
loyal
two
to
are committed
Bishop
to peacefully
Oyedepo.
co-parenting their son, born via
Then he was
surrogacy
asked,
in
since
2023.
you belong
A
to the
milestone
Abioye
she
camp
has
and
previously
things were working for
celebrated
you,
with
why
joy.
did you resign from
The
being
marriage, which
pastor
began in
and
April
later left
2021,
the
quietly
church?
dissolved
He
after
said,
3 years, with
I left
Biola
Winners Chapel
admitting
on
that
the
she has been crying
instructions
herself
of the
to
Holy
sleep for
Spirit.
over 14 months, while
The
still
instruction came
working
through
daily to bring
Hosea
happiness to others.
13:13, which reads,
While I
the
go about
sorrows of
making
a
other people
traveling
happy
woman
during
shall
the day,
come
my
upon
pillow is
him.
drenched with
He
tears
is an unwise
almost
son,
every night.
for he
I
shall
gain
not
strength
stay
from
long
Christ.
in the place
In a
of
society where
the
marital
breaking forth
endurance is
of the
often
children.
glorified at the
I
expense
was
of
confused
mental
when the Lord
and
gave me the
emotional
scripture,
health,
and I could not agree
Biola's
to the
courage to walk
interpretation.
away and
And
speak up
because I had
serves as a
started
powerful
enjoying the
reminder
ministry,
that
the
living can be
privileges were
an
coming.
act of
I was sure
survival,
of getting
not
transferred
failure.
soon to my desired branch.
And then we have Mercy Aigbe and
In
Larry
fact,
Gentry,
one day
divorced in
Pastor
2017
Ogunyomi
after
in
a
his
marriage
office
that
brought out a
reportedly
chart of
began
churches and
in
asked me where I would
2013.
love to be
Domestic
transferred
abuse was
to.
the primary
I
reason for
told
their
him
split.
to allow me to
Mercy
spend time
Aigbe
in
publicly
Awoyama,
accused her husband
that I
Larry
have some
Gentry of
targets to meet. But the
physically
truth then
abusing
is
her,
that the
and there were
scripture,
rumors of
Hosea
infidelity.
13:13, which came to me
Then
as a
Tonto
marching
Dike
order,
and
has taken
Olakunle
over the
Churchill
whole of my
divorced
being,
in July
and I was
2017.
already
The
out of
couple's
Winners
marriage
Chapel.
was marked by
But I
allegations
wanted to
of
do it
domestic
in such a way
abuse
that
and
Ogoyomi would not
infidelity.
stop me.
Tonto
So
Dike
the following week, I
accused
brought my
Olakunle Churchill
resignation
of cheating
letter
and
to
not
him.
being
He looked
responsible.
at me
She
angrily
also
and didn't say
mentioned
anything.
issues
1
related
week
to
passed, he
neglect
didn't
and
say anything.
abuse.
So
Then
one
we
day,
have
I
Tiwa
used his
Savage
official
and
mail because I
Tunji T.
had access
Bills
to
Balogun.
forward my
After
resignation
couple
letter to
married
the
in a
mission's
lavish ceremony
headquarters
in
in
Nigeria
Abuja.
and Dubai,
So
the
when
marriage later
Ogoyami later
ended
called me
in
to speak to
2016.
me about
The
my
marriage
decision
ended due
to
to
resign,
combination of
and to
infidelity,
convince me
financial
not to resign,
instability,
I told
and
him I had
alleged
already sent
emotional
the letter
abuse.
to Abuja
Tibius
through his
publicly
mail.
accused Tiwa
He
of
was
cheating,
furious.
while Tiwa later revealed
Before we
his
had a
own
program where
issues with
Victor and
finances and
Dele
drug
Bamboye
abuse.
were invited as guests.
Tiwa
On
Savage
that
also
day,
accused Tibius
Ogoyomi
of being
invited me to
responsible
his
for the
office.
divorce,
He told me
stating that
he
she didn't
actually
break up
put
with
up the
him.
program
She
because of
explained
me,
that
to
Tibius
encourage
made
me
the
not to
announcement
resign
while
and
she
have
was still
hope that soon
struggling with
I will enjoy.
postpartum after the
Trust
birth of their
his
son.
words. The
She
entire
also
program and
stated that she
teachings were
became the
more like
African black
custom
girl
made
after
for
the
me.
divorce.
If my decision to
Then
resign was
Iniedo and
about me,
Philip here
that
going wrong.
that program would
The
have made
marriage
me rescind
lasted for
my
6
decision, but
years.
it did
We
nothing
saw the now
to me.
estranged
In
couple
fact, I
walk
was
down the
enjoying
aisle
ministry and
on
having no need
29
to
November
resign.
2008.
I was even
However,
planning
the
for my
love went
marriage
sour
then, and
and they
Ogoyomi was
divorced in
surely going to
2014
support me
without
with
a
resources
child.
for sure. The
The Nollywood
scripture,
actress
Hosea
Iniobong
13,
Edo
verse
Ekim,
13, the
popularly known as
sorrows
Ini
of
Edo,
a
has revealed that
traveling woman
distance and
shall
interference caused
come
the
upon him.
collapse of
Is
her
an
marriage
unwise
to
son,
Philip
for he shall not
Emeagwoma.
stay long in the
However,
place of the
speculations
breaking
has it
forth
that
of
the
children,
divorce was due to
kept ringing in my
irreconcilable
head.
differences
The
and Philip's
interpretation I
lack
got from the
of
scripture
commitment.
is that Winners Chapel was a
Then we
place where
have
children are bettered,
Chika
not where they
Ike
grow
and
to
Tony
maturity.
Eberiri. After a
I
protracted
disagreed this in my heart
separation from her
until
ex,
2016,
Tony
when it
Eberiri,
became very clear
Nollywood
to me
screen goddess
what the
Chika
Lord
Ike
was saying.
filed a motion at the Abuja High Court
So,
on Friday, July
what
26,
became
2013.
clear to
She
you?
got what
How
she
did you
wanted,
arrive
a
at the
divorce.
Living Faith
Chika and Tony
Church
got married in
finally?
2006,
Or how
but the
did you
marriage hit the
arrive
rocks
leaving the
a few
church
years later.
finally?
The main
He
reason
said,
given for their split
I
was the
started
marriage had
reading
become
and
irreparably
seeing scriptures
broken.
differently from what I had been
Chika
taught.
Ike did not
Eventually, I
openly
left the church in
discuss the
August
specific
2016
reasons
to be
for the
precise.
divorce,
I
but there were
left
rumors
Winners
about
Chapel and
infidelity
joined Federal
and lack
University of
of
Technology,
communication. communication.
as an academic
Then
staff.
next we have
I
Paul
was
Okoye and
lecturing at the
Anita
Department
Okoye.
of
The God that
maritime management
divorce
technology,
papers
but I lost the
finalized in
job due to
December
political issues
2022.
within the school
Anita got
system.
married to Paul
I was
in 2014,
one-time
cited
president
cheating,
of
separation, being an
Students'
absent
Union
father,
of Futo, so
fraud,
it was
and
easy to
difficult
get involved
experiences
in
as some major
politics
reasons
when
for
I
seeking
became a
for a
lecturer.
divorce.
But that
Then
led to the
Kate
number of
Henshaw
things,
and Roderick
including
James
being
Nuttall.
maligned.
Henshaw
My
married
appointments was
British-born
terminated.
Roderick James
Until
Nuttall
date,
in
the
1999, and they
university
have a
keeps
child together.
denying my right to
Henshaw
appeal,
and
which is
Nuttall
enshrined
divorced
in the
in
school's
2011.
regulations.
The couple parted ways
Presently, I'm
after
into
several
media
years
and I
of
work
marriage,
for
but the
the Imo
exact
State
cause of the
government as
divorce
a
was
media
not
assistant.
publicly
I
disclosed.
had opportunities to
Speculations
start my
included the
ministry,
challenges of
but I lost
balancing a
interest in
career
it. Maybe,
and family
hopefully,
life.
God may revive it,
Then
if
A.Y.
so He
Makun.
wishes. He was asked,
Then we
do you
have
think
Kunle
Bishop
Afolayan and Tolu
Abioye should have
Afolayan,
left
divorced in
earlier than he did?
2019. They were married in
Bishop Abioye
2007
had
and have 4
envisaged
children.
that
Some
he would
said
be
that
allowed
Kunle and Tolu's
to
marriage
become
was
a
a
life resident
convenience
pastor
and that
of
Kunle
Living
was
Faith
never
Church,
truly in love
Goshen,
with Tolu.
without
Others said that the
retirement.
marriage was full of suspicion
He
and
had
distrust,
expected that the
and that
retirement
Tolu
clause would
left after failed
exempt him
attempts to save
as
it.
it
Kunle
exempted
confessed the
Papa
divorce on his
Bishop
45th birthday in
So he
2019 by
didn't have
posting
the
photos of
premonition
his
of
children
retirement,
and
and from
himself,
his own
but not
judgment,
his
it is
wife.
far better to stay as a life president or resident
Then
pastor
Innocent
of
Tubaba
Living
and
Faith Church
Annie
Goshen
Idibia.
until death
The
comes
most
than to
recent
set
addition to
out
the
for
above
a
list
new
is
ministry.
music legend Tubaba and his
And now,
actress wife Annie
finally,
Idibia in
he was
January
asked,
2025.
do you expect
Tubaba
any
announced
bitterness
on
between Oedipo
Instagram
and
that they had been
Abioye
separated
as a
and
result of
officially filed for
Abioye's retirement?
divorce. The controversial
He
post was
answered,
followed by a
of
claim
a
that
truth,
his account was hacked
the
before he
retirement came
admitted
to Abioye as
via
a
a
rude shock. He never expected it. He felt really bad about it for the sake of public image. He wouldn't be seen or heard or saying anything against the decision of Papa to retire him. So, though it's not altogether happy, but certainly there is no bitterness at all. That's my honest assessment of the situation. The succession plan affected him. That is